And it's a very warm welcome from Macquarie Ice Rink in Sydney for the grand final of SLAPSHOT 83 between the local heroes, the Warringah Bombers, and they take on the Adelaide Flyers. With me throughout the series, Sandy Logan, how do you think the tournament's gone?
Well, almost as I predicted. I remember saying earlier in the series this could be a preview when we saw the Flyers and the Bombers up against each other, and here it is in the grand final.
Well, talking of previews, let's have a sneak one now of both dressing rooms. A hive of activity in the Flyers rooms. Artie Molstay on the right, the very fiery man. He spent a lot of his time in the Sinbun during SLAPSHOT 83. That's very keyed up Flyers rooms. There's the goalkeeper just walking past, Peter Rice. Very tense scene, and looking down on the floor, a mass of hockey equipment, a very cluttered dressing room that the Flyers keyed up for the grand final. Running repairs or protection in Warringah Bombers rooms. A mass of protective clothing for all players. That's Craig Hutchinson, one of their starting players of SLAPSHOT 83. But the Warringah Bombers very keyed up after their rousing 4-2 win over the Melbourne Jets. A lot of psyching going on in their dressing room, and we're not far away now from the start of the grand final. And there, the magnificent SLAPSHOT 83 trophy. One of these two sides, the Flyers or the Bombers, will take it away in this magnificent tournament. Sandy Logan, which team?
Well, I think I'll have to say the Warringah Bombers, though I might get crucified. They're champions already, and they just may be too good on the night.
Let's look at the Flyers lineup.
Well, the Flyers have got a great team. They've come out hitting hard in the semi-finals, and it's quite possible they'll do the same thing here in the Grand.
One of the stumbling blocks for the Bombers will be Artie Molstay, the former Finnish builder, an all-action, all-round player with a fiery temperament. He migrated to Australia 4 years ago and is the leading defenceman with the Flyers in Adelaide. In SLAPSHOT 83, he's been the main defender on the Flyer blue line. The Bombers.
The Bombers are a champion team. They're Australia's champion club. They're great developers of Australian talent, and I think that might make tonight's difference.
And watch out for Elliot Mann, third in the line of the famous Mann ice hockey family. Father Richard is the manager of the team. Brother Ron played with the Macquarie Bears, who were beaten earlier in the tournament. And Elliot has just returned from the Junior World Championships in Romania. He's not only scored goals in SLAPSHOT 83, but has made many of the plays, a sign of a very good team man. And as we await the opening face-off, the crowd certainly with an air of anticipation. They're expecting a very exciting grand final for SLAPSHOT 83. Referee is Rick Williams. Grand final is underway. SLAPSHOT 83. Molstay.
Here's Hutchinson for the Bombers. He's got Mann.
Early clearance by the Flyers goalie, Peter Rice.
Here goes. Skated off the puck by the Bombers, and Sadgrove bangs it down the ice. A fast opening to this grand final.
Taylor, number 8 for the Bombers.
Otwell goes for Becker. Becker skating. And Turek comes out for the save.
Freezing the puck out of the crease.
Well, it's been a fast first minute. And with 3 periods,
Taylor wins it. Okay. Back into the attacking corner. Sadgrove is there. Molstay to Hutchinson.
Hutchinson blocks the shot.
Becker.
Man in there with Becker and Carey. Freezing the puck for a face-off. We see here on the replay, Mann trying to freeze that puck for a face-off, and Becker doing his hardest to keep it there too. Sadgrove and Carey helping out.
Carey appealing to the referee. Becker losing out to Taylor in the face-off.
There's Bottrell blocking the goalie.
Sadgrove.
And Terry George shoots him out of the way.
Molstay. Taylor. Defending well.
Referee Williams taking a top of the stick.
Bottrell with a strong body check. Mann. Becker.
Man's on the puck. Taken hard by Carey.
Hutchinson. Man. No score so far in the Slapshot 83 Grand Final. Mulstay already in the thick of things.
Tempers are a bit hot there. Artie Mulstay and Elliot Mann having a few words. Linesman Michael Murphy, Billy Ward getting in quick to separate the players. I noticed that Bombers defenseman Phil Hagee, who went off injured with the knee in the last game the Bombers played in this series, has been replaced by 21 Terry George.
Hang on.
A late change in the lineup for the Bombers tonight. Terry George, an Australian player of many years' experience. Back in the action, Campbell.
Bottle. Pullen coming in. Neela. Taylor. Hutchinson there. Taylor.
Hutchinson goes offside, but he's back out again. Over to
Neela.
Neela.
Hutchinson. Early chance. Yes!
Warringah Bombers. Third point on the board. And teammates come out onto the ice to congratulate that line. Craig Hutchinson and Jeff Taylor. Here we see it on the replay. Hutchinson gets the puck off a nice pass. Gets around Campbell. Almost loses his balance. Goes to the backhand here. And just between Peter Rice's skates.
Identical goal to the one he scored in the semi-final.
Indeed, Gordon.
The assists for the Bombers coming from number 8 Taylor and 10 Neela. Newbound.
Elliot Mann trying to check him.
Mihal.
Oh, and Turek makes a save. A fine
Taylor.
save.
Taylor. Solidly
Multi
checked. He's hurt himself, Jeff Taylor. Hutchinson.
And Rice makes the save.
Heads up.
Here on the replay, we see Mihal going in on Turek and a nice save with that left pad. Dave Newbound just missing the rebound.
Heads up.
Well, Jeff Taylor is off the ice after that close play. Look at him flying on the goal.
It's like a stream of piranha at the moment coming onto the ice. Pitstock. Campbell. Wrist shot to Becker. Sadgrove. Pitstock.
Watch this check. A hard check. Pitstock with his head down. But he's called it a charge. Referee Richard Williams has called it charging.
Pitstock lost his glove. He's only 17 years of age.
Hey, sorry.
He must
Here
be
it is
feeling
on
a
the
lot older.
replay. Pitstock. And Wayne Carey doing a minute in the sin bin for that charge.
Power play on for the Bombers. They lead by 1-0. 1.5 minutes remaining in this first term. Sadgrove. Pitstock. Losing out to Mihal.
Luttrell now, back to Campbell. The Flyers very effective at dragging the
Mihal. And the pass too far. Jones. This is Taylor. Slapshot. Peter Rice has had some very anxious moments in front of his net. So far he's conceded only 1 goal. And it's the Bombers skating from the right in the white uniforms, white and blue, leading the Adelaide Flyers by 1-0. White sending it forward to Pitstock. Becker in the way. Good pass to Bottle. Mihal's there. So it's Sadgrove. Pitstock. Good combination at the back.
Wilson and Spike, but he doesn't look where he's passing, unfortunately, and loses that advantage.
Wilson coming through on Campbell. Bottle. Becker. Mihal there. Mihal. Clever play. Chance.
Oh, and Turek makes another great save, stopping the Flyers.
Well, the Flyers have come right back.
I don't think Vladimir Mihal could believe that save, shaking his head in disbelief, but Turek coming up big again.
It certainly was a superb shot from Mihal.
No. Hey, listen.
Dave Turak, the hero so far for the Bombers. He stopped everything thrown at him.
Flyers playing coach Craig Campbell having a few words to say to the referee there, but the referee telling him, listen, you play hockey.
Almost approaching the end of the first term. The Bombers in the lead by 1-0. There's the buzzer. And that certainly is a nice start for the local side, the Warringah Bombers, over the Adelaide Flyers. They lead by 1-0.
Our most valuable player statistics are very close here. The grand final game, Daryl Becker of the Flyers in first on 16. Jeff Taylor of the Bombers second on 13, tied with Craig Hutchinson. Scott Davidson on 12, Jim Feuerchuk and Gordy Curfey of the Jets on 11.
Second of 3 periods in the SLAPSHOT 83 grand final. Warringah Bombers are skating from the left. In the white and blue, they lead after the first period by 1-0. And Sandy, I think it's pretty safe to say that this second period will probably decide the championship.
I think so. It could make or break either team. The Bombers are ahead by 1, but the Flyers just as quick to pounce. Here we see Daryl Becker taking a 1-minute minor penalty. That's his first penalty, in fact, in the entire SLAPSHOT 83 series.
Becker, a full-time professional.
Bombers with the power play.
Hutchinson. And ahead. Taken by Kerry. Sedgrove. Man for the Bombers. In comes Sedgrove.
Off the post.
And another good shot. Well taken though by Peter Wright.
Covering up for the face-off. Here we've got Elliot Mann stopping that puck at the blue line and getting a quick snap off. And Peter Rice juggling it before the face-off.
Hutchinson. Cleared by Mulstay. Sedgrove. Finding Taylor. Man calling for it. He came Pitstock. Now it's Mulstay.
Daryl Becker is back on the ice. The Flyers at full strength.
Becker!
Oh, and Turek gets his shoulder in the way.
Hutchinson now. Becker covering a lot of ice.
Here we see Becker on the replay. Coming in as Sadville goes down to block, and Turek gets the chest to it.
Taylor. George calling for it. Jones. Taylor. Man for the Bombers. Hutchinson. Shouldered out. Taylor. Bombers looking dangerous. There's a good build up here. Man.
Backhand shot though, blocked by Becker. Both teams changing on the fly, getting their fresh reserves out.
Set up the ice by Neela. Gary shoved out. Campbell coming in. Axe-like motion with the stick. Pulling in. White coming in. Jones. Good through ball for Hutchinson. Campbell. Becker chasing hard. So is Neela. Becker. Campbell for the Flyers. Kinonen. Becker.
Evades one check. Wilson having trouble getting it out, but Jones
Becker again. Spike. Finds Newbound. Wilson. Pitstock. Spike. Pitstock's inside. So is Wilson. Pulling in. Flyers. 3 to the neutral
in over the blue line as Steve Newbound waits, and here's a shot from Pullinan, partially screened, but Turek just covering so much of the goal mouth, making another fine save.
Dave Turek hasn't conceded the goal so far for the Warringah Bombers in this grand final.
Just under 8 minutes.
Second period. Sandro
Bangs it around the corners, kept in though by Carey.
Now it's Bottrell. Spike. Pinonen. Clever stick work by Pinonen. Now he finds Newbound.
Mihal and Becker.
Becker.
Couldn't get enough wood on the shot, but he gets it back to the point and out.
Carey.
Offside there at the Bomber blue line.
The Flyers finding it very hard to penetrate the defence of the Bombers, who lead by 1-0 second period. Sadgrove has done a mountain of work.
Becker not happy, so the linesman just drops the puck.
Taking his eye off the puck that time. Carey. In comes Wilson. Pitstock. Spike. Intercepted by Pinonen. Pinonen with Newbound. Now it's Becker. Pinonen and Newbound in front of the net. Newbound missed the deflection.
Great move by Becker. But here's Wilson with Pitstock.
Chance.
And he shot it right at Rice, who makes a brilliant save.
Tried to put it through his legs.
Once again, another teammate saying to Brian Wilson, hey, I was over here, why didn't you pass? Here we see on the replay, the defenseman sprawling, but Wilson gets around him, decides to take the shot between the legs, but Rice closes him just in time. Once again, Wilson steps around the sprawled defender, goes himself for the shot, and a fine save by Peter Rice.
Pullinan. Great save by Turek. Strong counter-attack. Jones finding Pitstock. Campbell's there. Pitstock crashes to the ice. 1 goal in it at the moment. Warringah Bombers leading the Flyers from Adelaide. Neela shooting the puck forward. Attacking corner. Pinonen. Pinonen. Pullinan. Pinonen doing well. Neutral zone. Bottrell.
John Bottrell at least a foot and a half inside the blue line there, quite obviously offside, but I think it gives all the players a break. SLAPSHOT 83, some of the fastest ice hockey we've ever seen in Australia.
Five minutes remaining in the second term.
Artie Pinonen ready for this face-off. Losing it to the Bombers.
Neela. Jones. It's man. Pinonen. Molstay. Doesn't find Bottrell. Strong charge by Molstay. One man. Campbell. Looking for Pullinan. Strong charge by Pullinan. Molstay's in the slot.
Hutchinson ruins that play and once again gets the puck. He's got Taylor racing down the left.
Campbell and Molstay in pursuit. Taylor! Hutchinson
Stays there though.
He anticipated well. Bottrell calling for it. SLAPSHOT.
A bouncing puck saved by Dave Turek.
The pace fast and furious. Becker's on. Just wide again.
And we've got, there's the shot by Molstay.
Referee's arm is up.
For a delayed penalty now coming against the Bombers. Picking a foul up in the back play, referee Williams calling a delayed penalty until the Bombers gain possession. It's a high sticking penalty against Bomber star number 8, Jeff Hollywood Taylor. 1 minute in the sin bin now, giving the Flyers a vital power play opportunity.
Just over 4 minutes remaining in the second period.
Hutchinson wins the face-off, but then loses it to Becker, who's checked.
Play the Flyers with the power play.
To Molstay.
Left shot. No, it's a wrist shot.
But the Bombers fire it down the ice to waste valuable seconds.
Molstay, he loves those body checks. Bottle. Hutchinson up again, that's him, number 18.
Oh,
Bad pass. Spike. Taken out by Mihal. Campbell for the Adelaide Flyers. The Bombers ahead by 1 goal to 0. Second period. SLAPSHOT 83 grand final. Becker. Second grab. Campbell. Who's there? Molstay.
Almost picked up that corner, and Dave Turk makes a great save for the Bombers.
Somehow he anchored his left foot on the puck.
Just getting that big pad out on the Molstay shot. And Terry George helping Dave Turek cover up for the face-off. Well, Turek wants a rest, I think. And the Bombers are back to full strength after that face-off. Jeff Taylor's on the ice. So both teams even Steven.
Jeff Taylor back on after the sin bin. Nothing in this grand final of SLAPSHOT 83. The Bombers leading by 1 goal to 0, but the Flyers really applying pressure in their second period. Becker. He's been a real danger man. Wilson. Taylor. Got the shot in.
Nice play there by Jeff Taylor, hoping that the rebound had come out to Spike, who was looming dangerously in the background.
Watch out, Taylor's looking across at his man and has the shot.
That's right. Winds up, takes that shot, and we'll just see Spike looming in, hoping for the rebound, but Rice is too quick.
2 minutes to go in the second period. Wilson. Campbell. Campbell for the Flyers. Snaps it up to the attacking zone. That drove. Pulling it. Spike. Hit shot.
Offside called against the Bombers there. Once again, Craig Campbell having words to Darren Pitstock. I think Pitstock saying, let's see it on the ice and look at the scoreboard, my friend.
With Pitstock wearing a face mask, Campbell made the comment that the younger players are afraid of being hit in the face, that's why they wear a mask.
Spike there going for a great dive, and no tripping penalty on the call, though. Hutchison steals the puck, it's Taylor!
Campbell's there.
Oh, nicely defended by Craig Campbell, but Hutchinson picks it back up.
Spike waiting for it. Pinonen. Good defense though by Campbell. Here's Taylor.
Here's the shot.
Spike in front of the net.
The Bombers control play so well in the attacking zone.
Taylor. Becker going after his man. Hutchinson.
And Rice kicks it out.
Taylor again. That's one way of ending the attack. Hutchinson. George. Becker.
I would have thought there was a definite penalty back there in the corner that Richard Williams,
Wayne Carey,
with less than a minute to go, didn't call, but he then did call one against Wayne Carey. Jeffrey Taylor, number 8 for the Bombers, took a terrible hit in the corner. Carey in the sin bin.
1 minute for cross-checking.
energy sapping, temper testing pace in this grand final.
Here we see Taylor in the replay, down on his knees in the corner, but there's the penalty from Carey, a cross-check from behind on Sadgrove. Good call.
Ice hockey, fastest game of them all. George, finding Pitstock.
Bombers with the power play.
Spike across on this side.
Shot blocked.
Spike. Pulling it. Spike. Save.
A good save, yes, Gordon. A
Peter
great
Rice.
save.
Caught that one up near his shoulder.
Here on the replay, Chris Spike somehow or other getting room to get that backhand off, and Peter Rice standing up to it, making the save.
So at the conclusion of the second period, no goal scored in that last one. It's 1-0 still with the Warringah Bombers in the lead. Third period underway. Wayne Carey with 42 seconds left in the sin bin. The Bombers skating from the right, leading by 1-0.
The ice just been resurfaced, so it's very fast.
Bombers probing for an early goal in this third period.
Sadgrove, last man back for the Bombers. He's got George on his left, though.
George.
Going himself.
George. Hi, George. Hutchinson.
Sadgrove picking it up for the Bombers.
George in center. Hutchinson. Taylor almost put over the board by Holstein. Sadgrove.
Oh, kicked out of the air though.
Taylor.
Flyers
Campbell
adjusting.
Campbell. George chasing hard. Mihal's there first. Mihal. Here's Becker.
Oh, and Jarek makes a fine save, but Campbell can't believe it. And the crowd gets behind the Bombers goalie. Here on the replay, we see Vladimir Mihal outskate Terry George, Kate the puck,
guys.
gets it in front nicely to Darryl Becker, who's all alone behind Sadgrove, onto the backhand, then to the forehand, but can't get it up over the body. Well, there's value in that size.
Becker and Hutchinson.
Bombers win the face-off and bang the puck down into the Flyers zone.
Campbell. Flyers trailing by 1-0. Mihal. Becker in front of the net.
Becker! Darryl Becker for the Flyers!
Scores a level.
We see the Flyers bringing that puck in and making a nice move around Howie Jones. Vladimir Mihal backhands it out. It goes off the skate and beats Jurek. Becker getting in underneath the sprawl goalie. Once again from on top, Mihal outskates Howie Jones, and an unfortunate deflection off his skates. Rebounds off Jurek's glove. He's not quick enough as Becker pokes it in the net.
And the assists from Mihal and Molstay. We have those three, the outstanding trio for the Adelaide Flyers. Newbound. That's really give them a new lease of life. Newbound is in serious trouble. A blow in the face, I think.
Linesmen and referees blowing the whistle as Steve Babe Newbound taking a hard hit. Here we see it. Chris Spike out of camera at the moment, but on the left suddenly comes in there and just knocks the living daylights out of him. A solid and a fair check, but boy, it hurts. Well, he's getting back up onto his feet. The crowd giving him a well-deserved round of applause. I think he might take a rest here. He certainly is allowed to if he's in.
No.
Very thankful to be up in the grandstand, I think. The score's a level here in SLAPSHOT 83 at the Macquarie Ice Rink. This is the grand final. The Adelaide Flyers and the Warringah Bombers. 1-1. Neela for the Bombers.
Taken out of the play by Fullerton. Well, that took a long time for the referee to blow his whistle. Should have blown it a lot earlier, I thought. The puck up in the air and a high stick over the shoulder. We'll see it here on the replay. Howie Jones going into the corner for it, and as he hits it, it deflects into the air. Denonin raises the stick above the shoulder where he makes contact. Play should have been whistled then immediately. It was a few seconds later.
Fullerton. Back to Neela. Spike. Fullerton. Denonin. Taken out though by Pitstock. Jones was inside but well stopped by Peter Rice.
Wayne Carey covering up back there. Craig Campbell giving words of encouragement to young Peter Rice. And here on the replay, we see Pitstock winding up for that shot straight at Peter Rice. And a good save for the Flyers. He's certainly keeping them in the game.
A very tense situation in this final period of the grand final. 1-1 the score. Hutchinson and Pitstock. This is Becker, the goal scorer. An outstanding hockey player. Becker!
Oh, and a great save by Jurek, but a wonderful play by Becker.
Still in play. by Dave Jurek. Well, Becker has been like lightning in this final period.
If he had to earn his way home to Canada, he'd be playing lots of hockey like this, I'm sure. Look at this beautiful move by Becker. Springs around Sadgrove, falls as he shoots, and sprawling save by Jurek. Oh, that's great hockey.
Campbell and Mihal
Leading the rush for the Flyers.
offside. Sneaking across there was Pullinan. He just got a little anxious. Campbell venting his feelings with some unsolicited advice for his teammate.
Here we see the replay. Craig Campbell moving along, but Pinonin just a bit, Pullinan just a bit too quick, and Campbell none too happy.
Becker. George. It's Taylor.
5 minutes remaining in the game.
Becker and Mihal, the dangerous duo. Mihal. Becker. Oh, hit the post. Hit the post. It's still 1-1 in the grand final.
And the puck going off a high stick there, but let's look at this replay. Mihal playing it beautifully back to Becker, who doesn't wait, he just fires it. And Dave Jurek must be thanking the post, because there it goes, ricocheting off.
Well, Dave Jurek was beaten hopelessly by that puck, which must have been travelling at over 100 kilometres an hour.
Well, we're into stop time now in the last 5 minutes. Every time the whistle goes, the clock stops.
The Flyers are finishing very strongly. They've done most of the attacking in this third period. George, back to Mann. Mihal steals it. Sadgrove's there, number 32. 18 is Mann. And Mann frozen on the board. But the excitement is anything but frozen in this grand final. Warringah Bombers in the blue and white. The Adelaide Flyers in the orange. And it's a deadlocked grand final at 1-1. Mihal. Pinonen's there, so is Becker. This is Becker. Curry. Here comes Pinonen. Sadgrove. Knocked out.
Going for a penalty there, but he didn't get it.
Hutchinson looking for support. Carey. Taylor, and this is Hutchinson. Taylor's there.
Oh, check
blocked by
by
Becker. Good play by Becker. He's been everywhere. Hutchinson.
There's pit stop. Back to Mann.
Desperate block by the defense. Mihal. Pinonen.
Back to Mihal. To Pinonen.
Oh, the save! Oh, that's probably the save of the championship.
Without a doubt, that was a set goal for the Flyers. Pinonen and Mihal. Here on the replay, we see Mihal getting it forward to Pinonen. Pinonen just getting around Terry George, and backhand to the right of Turek, but he's got his glove there. Once again, a nice back pass from Mihal. Sadgrove misses, but picked up. Back to Pinonen, and the save.
Scores are tied at 1-1 in the grand final of Slapshot 83. In the event of a tie, we'll go into overtime. Pit stop, up to the blue line. Slapshot!
And it's out on the full. In the event that the grand final game is tied, we'll move into a 10-minute sudden death overtime period. The first team to score will be the winners. If after the 10-minute sudden death overtime period there's still no result, a penalty shot showdown system will apply.
3.5 minutes remaining in the grand final. Spike. Pinonen. Pinonen doing well. Newbound. Looking for Bottrell. Pullinan. Neela. Pressed by Bottrell. And Pullinan. Wilson.
And Spike on the right.
Pitcock's behind. Wilson. Jones. Beats Bottrell. Not Campbell though. Here comes Newbound. Spike's there first. Spike lost it. Newbound. Becker.
And a shot blocked.
Wilson. Looking for Spike. Campbell. Cullinan. Mihal. Ball stays there. Mihal. Ball stay. Couldn't control. Close.
Oh, ricocheted off the post and back into the goal mouth. Lucky for Dave Turek. At this stage, it seems to be all going the Flyers' way, and here on the replay, we see that shot that bounces to the back of the net, and then somehow or other hits a player in front, but Turek was quick to see it.
Campbell. Not a good pass, Sedgrove. Man! Good save by Peter Rice. Kinonen. Campbell losing out to Hutchinson. Offside.
Offside against the Bombers. Oh, very close call, but I think the linesman was on there. Michael Murphy and Billy Ward doing a great job here with referee Rick Williams tonight. There on the replay, we see Hutchinson chasing it. Yes, definitely offside.
Becker. Another save by Turek.
Players have a quick word there because Terry George gave the puck to Becker, who wasted no time with the shot. And Turek having a bit of trouble with it. Back to Mulsey.
Got the SLAPSHOT in. Taken away by Mann. Fighting Taylor. Mann there, so is Hutchinson.
Control.
Mann.
Oh, and Hutchinson had a chance.
Across the face. Taylor. Becker. Becker. Over the blue line. Becker.
Blocked by Sadgrove.
Come on, move it!
Molstay. Mihal's there. Molstay. Kicked it across for Mann, an opponent.
No!
Molstay quickly recovering. Becker allows it to go between his legs. Neela with Hutchinson and Taylor on his left. Taylor. Molstay. Panonen up ahead. So is Mihal. Mihal and Neela. The two number 10s. Here's Panonen. 1 minute to go. A chance now. Mihal. Campbell couldn't finish. Scramble in front of the net.
How close! Mihal sprawled, spread eagled on the ice. I don't think he can believe it either. So close yet so far.
He's not hurt, he's just exhausted. And frustrated.
Here's the Flyers in action once again. Craig Campbell leaving it behind for Vlad Mihal, who gives it ahead to Campbell, who just turns around 360 and then back again to the backhand, but Turek was there once again.
Cacophony of sound here at the Macquarie Ice Rink. Another save. A big shot from Molstay. Campbell goes to the SLAPSHOT. Oh, Mihal! George. Taylor. Quick counter-attack. Taylor still going. Hutchinson's there. So is Spike. 38 seconds to go. Jones will go into overtime as the scores are level at full time. Sedgrove's only stick away.
He's broken it on the shot. The Bombers are down a man without a stick.
Bottrell 2 for Nolan. They're a man down the Bombers. Bottrell. 18 seconds to go. Taylor. Campbell racing back. So is Hutchinson. Spike misses. Panonen with Becker. 2 on 1. Bottrell's in the centre. Another chance. Molstay. 1 second to go. There's the buzzer. Scores are level at full time. We'll go into overtime. 1-1.
ice for the Flyers. He's going to be a big man in this game with 10 minutes of sudden death overtime, and Dave Turek for the Bombers.
The first scorer will win the grand final. If there's no scorer in the overtime, we go to 5 goal shots per side. Scores were locked at 1-1 at full time. This is overtime. The Flyers attacking. Close! Becker nearly home again. Becker's hurt himself. Hutchinson. Bottrell to Campbell. Get back! Kinonan and Wilson. Sadgrove. Campbell.
The Bottrell. Offside on the play.
Kinonan complaining to the linesman.
With Campbell and Becker. They don't think it was, but Billy Ward saw it. He reckons it was offside. Oh, a borderline call. We're up here, he's down there. I think we've got to give the linesman benefit of the doubt.
Holstay. Both sides at full strength. Holstay. Holstay going his own. Bottrell's inside. Holstay.
Still with the puck.
Becker and Campbell waiting. Holstay. Campbell.
Oh, just wide of the net. Well, the melee in front of the net, and the net pushed up off its mountings. You see here on the replay, Malsey gets it out in front to the top of the slot to Craig Campbell, who takes just a little bit too long on the wind-up, and the defender gets his stick there. Malsey trying to plug the short side, and Sadgrove making friends with Malsey and the post. There's Campbell shooting again. Geez, that could have gone in, but Turek got the glove down.
Holstay.
Off Becker's stick.
Kinonan and Becker. Now it's Wilson. Holstay again. More experience in this Flyers side. A younger team opposed to them in the Bombers. Will the experience win out though?
Kinonan's got Becker on the left. Can he reach him?
Intercepted by Spike in a nick of time. We are in overtime in this grand final of Slapshot 83. Extra time if you like. The first scorer will win the grand final. It's sudden death. Another fine save. Holstay getting in the full run of Slapshot.
There's that shot. Turek just gets the glove again, juggles in the air, and freezes up for a face-off.
Kinonan just misses. Becker's there. It's close. And Turek's lying on the puck again. He's done a marvellous job as goaltender for the Warringah Bombers this evening. Left leg outstretched. And he covers up with the stick. Campbell. Ball stays there. So too is Sadgrove. Holstay. Big man. They're waiting. Taylor. Holstay. Offside, says the referee. Or the linesman. Here's the linesman judging the offside.
Yes.
Holstay not impressed. That's Mihal opposed to Hutchinson on the left. Mihal. Becker. Good defence from the Bombers. Becker. Kinonan. Intercepted by Sadgrove. Mihal. Looking for Becker. Oh, and saved by Turek again. Meehan
Getting that blocker in front of the puck.
Taylor, Hutchinson inside. Taylor!
Oh, too high.
Over the top. Campbell. Both sides having their chances. Sudden death here. We're in overtime. Replacement on, Panonen off. 4 minutes of overtime remaining. Then we go to goal shots. 5 from each side. Holstay. Holstay. Statgrove and Neela. Mihal. Mihal for the Flyers. Campbell. Less than 4 minutes of overtime remaining. Wilson. Taylor. Taylor with Wilson. Battling hard. Becker. Mihal. Mihal and Becker. Mihal around Statgrove. Becker's there. Campbell comes in. Taylor. Holstay in front. Chance for man. Campbell and Wilson not seeing eye to eye.
Well, here on the replay, Elliott Mann tries to squeeze through and does so successfully, but doesn't get any wood to the puck.
Just over 3 minutes of overtime. It's sudden death. The first team to score wins the SLAPSHOT Grand Final. Taylor just wide. Wilson. Holstay. Now it's Taylor. Spikes there. Campbell. Pullinan. Campbell. Mihal in the slot. Heavy ball for Campbell. Taylor. A very heavy ball for Campbell. And he may well have knocked his nose out of shape.
Well, we see here on the replay, Taylor from behind trying to lift his stick up. And oh yes, catching him on the nose there. I don't think that was intentional. Trying to lift up Craig Campbell's stick on that play, and it appears as though he caught his nose. Well, there's Craig Campbell now. He's speaking anyway. I guess the law of averages says that if you're on the ice as much as Craig Campbell is, you're bound to have an accident eventually.
Well, he certainly won the respect of everyone here, Craig Campbell. He may have a suspect temperament, but he's a very gritty and courageous player, and still he has something to say.
Well, not forgetting he is the playing coach. He's got the responsibilities of making sure the players on the ice know what they're doing in his absence. So,
Statgrove. Just over 2 minutes of overtime remaining. Then we go into the penalty goals. 3 players from each side, not 5 as we told you originally. Bottrell. Pinonen's there, so is Taylor. Offside. James Hutchinson.
well, if the players are smart, they'll get into position for the face-off quickly to save time. Seconds ticking away.
Less than 2 minutes remaining. Here's Becker. Losing out to Jones. Checked by Bottrell. Holstay. Turns on the speed. Spike. Kari. Looking for Becker. Becker. Long range shot. Statgrove. And it's Becker.
He's got Panonen on the right and Bottrell.
Becker's still going. Holstay. Just over a minute of overtime to go. Campbell's there.
Oh, he misses the short side.
Holstay. Bottrell. Somehow managed to keep that net intact
and keep the puck struck out, and here's a replay. Craig Campbell having a chance right from 3 Flyers, untouched, and Campbell shoots straight into Turek's glove. Well, nice try.
40 seconds to go. Sadgrove to Campbell. Kanonen's off. Mihal's on. Playmaker Mihal teaming up with Becker. For the closing seconds of this overtime, Molstay. Can the Flyers do it? Becker with one of the last chances. Bottrell, Campbell. Almost finished by Becker. But that massive frame of Turek in the way again. What drama.
I think everyone will be happy. There's Campbell taking the shot. Bottrell gets a piece of it. Becker gets a piece of it.
There's the buzzer. The overtime is over. We now go into the penalty shots.
And a showdown with 3 players from each team lining up at center ice.
So here are the men in the hot seat. Dave Turek, the goaltender for the Warringah Bombers. He's done a mighty job as goaltender in this grand final. And Peter Rice for the Adelaide Flyers. A very solid performance from him too.
Under the rules of a penalty shot, the goaltender cannot leave his crease until the attacker has crossed the blue line. Once the attacker crosses the blue line, it's anything goes. A goalie can skate out, he can stay in his net, do what he wants. But he must be in that crease. We can see the box there that Dave Turek's skating around. He must stay in that crease until the shooter crosses the blue line. The first shooter for the Adelaide Flyers,
Darryl Becker, the man who's been such an inspiration. This Canadian hockey player, he plays full-time. He's had 3 years in Europe, a very experienced man. And the Flyers looking for a start from Becker.
yes! He puts it in. Well, that's one. That's one. Let's look at it in slow motion replay. Turek backing into the crease, glove up high. Becker looks to his right, but shoots to his left. Yes. And now for the Bombers,
Craig Hutchinson. This to level.
oh, and he misses the net.
And look at the elation of Peter Rice and the despair of Craig Hutchinson. The cheer spot for the Bombers silent.
There we see Hutchinson breaking in. He's crossed the blue line, so Rice can do what he wants now. Hutchinson takes his time. He's a methodical thinking player. Stick handles to the right, the left, shifts far left. Thinks he's drawn Rice out, but shoots wide. And now the second shooter for the Flyers,
Artie Molstay.
Save! Dave Turek makes the save.
The Bombers are still in it. This really is fine tingling stuff. Flyers deciding who their third man will be.
Here on the replay, Mulsey comes in over the blue line, but doesn't quite get the shot off, I think, the way he wanted to. And now the Bombers' third and final shooter.
It's the second shooter, Mark Sadgrove for the Bombers. Sadgrove!
Oh, and Rice makes the save.
So the Bombers have only one chance. If the Flyers put this one home, and it will be...
Here's Sadgrove on the replay, coming in, stick handling around, looking for the shot, leans just too far and puts it past it and smashes his stick over the boards, upset with himself.
Incredible pressure on these players. It's now Kari Pinonen. He will be the third penalty shooter. Remember that the Flyers have already scored one.
Darryl Becker getting the first goal in this penalty shot showdown. Craig Hutchinson missing for the Bombers.
If Pinonen puts this one away, SLAPSHOT 83 is all parceled up.
Yes! And the Adelaide Flyers!
The Adelaide Flyers have done it! Jubilation in their we must all feel for the Warringah Bombers. Here's the replay. Kari Panonen.
Panonen seemed to know what he was doing. He took his time, again looked to the left and shot to the right this time, and beating Turek on the stick side. Well, we see here from the side, Panonen crossing the blue line, taking his time. He shifts to the left but shoots to the right, and Dave Turek lifting the stick and the puck going past.
Well, the SLAPSHOT 83 Most Valuable Player Award was a difficult decision to make. The winner ended up being Darryl Becker from the Adelaide Flyers. Not only did he outpole the rest of the players, but he also outscored and out-assisted. In second was Jeff Taylor for the Warringah Bombers, a fine player originally from Canada and with the Bombers now for 3 seasons. Craig Hutchinson came in third, also with the Bombers. Hutchinson is a great stick handler, and I think he'll go a long way in Australian hockey. In fourth was Scott Davidson with the Melbourne Jets. Had the Jets made it into the grand final, I think Davidson would have been a contender. And tied for fifth was Jim Fiarchuk from the Canberra Knights, the playing coach for the Knights, and Gordy Curfey, also from the Melbourne Jets. The best goaltender award went to Dave Turek for the Warringah Bombers. He played one heck of a grand final, stopped more shots than you would have got in the Second World War. A great game to Turek. And now it's down to Gordon with the winning team.
Thanks very much, Sandy. And now to John Bottrell, the captain of the Adelaide Flyers. What did you think of the game?
Well, I just think the guys gelled together for one hell of an effort, and we got better and better as the tournament went on to prove I think we're number one. I'd just like to thank the Bombers for one hell of an effort. They're a good team, but we proved the better.
And what's the word from the Flyers? On behalf of ABC Sport, SLAPSHOT 83 signs off from Macquarie Ice Rink.